in the second row though, and his other front row partner wearing 13, Greg Dowling. What an important match this one is for him. He was out injured last week. He had a disappointing test match a couple of weeks ago when he carried an injury in, and there is a bit of a question mark about his fitness even for today's game.
Wynnum-Manly led onto the field by Gene Miles, and you can see that right knee heavily strapped, but it's been the ankle that's been causing Gino most problems. Hasn't played a game since the test match against New Zealand, and of course he battled right through the State of Origin series. The rest of the team, Brad Samuelson, an important role he has, but he's taken on that position with Wally Lewis out very well. The referee today is Eddie Ward. Consistently the referee given the man of the game of the week at Lang Park here. There's the kick from Guy Harvey to get play underway. Bounces for Daryl Jenner.
As we said, Warren, a $10,000 Woolies Trophy final today. The winner gets $7,500 and the loser the remaining $2,500. So plenty of incentive for the players to lift their game, and I think it'll be a beauty.
Turner. Back to Gene Miles for the kick. Gets it up high, has a bit of breeze behind him. Michael Booth across, gets the fingertips onto it. At least gets it into control rather than allowing it to bounce away from him.
It was very obvious there that Miles was going to do the kicking, being a centre and standing right in behind the ruck, and Norse really didn't get to him anywhere near quickly enough.
Greg Dowling back after injury. Gerard, midway between the quarter and halfway. Daryl Duncan gets the kick away. Nichols is over there, chasing back under pressure, and it's gone straight into the arms of Cocky McMahon. He's on the way through the try line, underneath the post. Well, what a bounce to get, straight between the Wynnum-Manly players. Craig Groff, in fact, it wasn't McMahon over there.
Great effort there from Norse. They capitalised on that. Scott Nichols made the initial mistake from Norse kicking downfield, and then a good chase. You've got to put the pressure on, and had they not had this pressure on, these players were offside undoubtedly. Let's just see whether they're inside the 5 metres when Scott Nichols plays at it. Well, I'd say they were. For mine, they were offside. Of course, once he touches it, they're all back on, but they had to be outside the 5 metres before he even played at the ball. However, Eddie Ward didn't see it that way. Craig Raw picks it up from a touch-on from Scott Nichols. He puts it down under the post, and a dream start for the Devils.
Harvey right in front of the sticks. Adds 2 points, so Norths, after only 2.5 minutes of play, lead 6-0.
Here it is from head on. There's Scott Nichols. That's his touch. Now there, for sure, Craig Groff is inside the 5 metres, well in front of the kicker. However, Eddie Ward has decided that the little touch put them all on. Catching Craig Groff then, he sprints away. He had the momentum going with him. Bagnall's with him. He's very happy. Go, son, go, he's saying. And Craig Groff puts it down under the post.
Steady play there from Wynnum-Manly.
One of the top players for Norse in recent weeks has been their captain, Daryl Duncan. Greg Oliphant found it necessary to drop him there quite some weeks ago when he felt he wasn't putting the effort in, but as the big games come toward the end of the season, Duncan showing his true wares.
Dowling.
He's more involved as we can see, and it looks like he's not troubled by injuries.
Again, you can see Dowling trying to slip the pass, but had no support there. Duncan with the kick. See what happens this time with the kick. Safely taken by Colin Scott. He runs it up hard, crosses the halfway. Nichols.
More slow to move up there. He allowed him some very easy territory. Picked up 10 metres.
Plays it forward. He wasn't marked, and he goes straight through the middle.
And that's why the initial 10 metres gave him the momentum. Norse didn't really recover.
The grasping fingers are built up, pulled him in. Now it's Petrie.
Thinking he was going to be caught for an obstruction on Tessman. Put the brakes on.
Jenner. Dummies inside. Tries to push away from Dowling, but 4 North's players come in on him eventually. Ball's lost. Penalty to Wynnum. Stealing it in the tackle. Now Brad Samuelson, exceptional record with the boot, 86% success rate. This one is through. Good kick from Samuelson from a difficult angle. North 6, Wynnum-Manly 2. Restart from Harvey. Samuelson hasn't had that many kicks this season. Of course, he's been in reserve grade, but particularly good average when he has been in A grade.
We saw him here a couple of weeks ago when he did put over 5 out of 5, Samuelson. So he's certainly accurate, but in that 5 out of 5 when he did kick them, there was a couple of kicks that just fell over the bar. So he's not a very powerful kicker. There's an exception. Gene Miles putting that one right up, Booth underneath it nicely.
Miles putting it up in the heavens, giving it every chance to be pushed downfield by the breeze. North's working it back upfield through McMahon. Now Duncan slips a pass to Groff, but it travelled forward.
Marginally, I think Eddie Ward was right too. The idea was good though. They had a little bit of a chance out here on this short blind side. Groff working well off the big front rower.
Eddie Ward keeping the front rows well apart before he allows them to come together. Wynnum ball. Scott up from fullback, steps out of a tackle. Naylor sends it out to Dawes. Samuelson coming back towards the forwards. Groff there to wrap him up with Dart. Turner gets inside Dart. Finally comes to the defence, moving wide of the ruck. Jackson there with Groff. Now the run around with Jenner. Back inside to Tessman. Just short of the quarter line. Dawes, Miles, crashes through, gets the arms out. Defence comes again. Bagnall there. Dawes, Samuelson, Jamot. Jamot heading across field, flicks it back to Scott. Scott still going, has support too, gets it back to Samuelson. Tries to get the pass away, it's knocked by a North player. Could be play on? No, the referee says knock on.
Well, spectacular attack there from Wynnum-Manly. Beautiful thick pass from Tony Jamot to put Colin Scott into a half gap. Here it is. Have a look at this one from Jamot. Look at this how he does it. You flick it up. That's beautiful. Got to get it up in the air to give the player plenty of time to get a look at it. Colin Scott got a fright and almost tripped himself over. Breaks that tackle. Gets through. Finds support in Samuelson. Good tackle this one to save it. Try save of that. Samuelson popped it up. There was play on at that stage. The ball was still alive. Eddie Ward's called it though for a knock on. I think the ball was still alive even though Naylor didn't ground it.
North's in possession from the scrum.
And offside. At the markers. The double markers there, not standing directly behind one another and not and leaving just a little bit too early. The ball must clear the ruck before anyone can make a move. And the ruck being the 4 feet of the players involved in the play the ball.
Now Duncan looks for touch. Wynnum fighting back quite well after that early setback. McMahon running it up. Gerard from dummy half. Almost catches Tessman napping. Duncan calling for it on the blind, but switches the point of attack to McCabe. Shrugs off one tackle. Still going. Hickey came across to get him. Oh. Duncan gets a bad pass. It was too hard and too high for him coming that close.
Yeah, I don't think it was meant for Duncan. I think it was meant for the player a couple out at least, because Duncan came in and sharked it. He was keen to do the wrap and do the work, but he hadn't made his intentions known.
Scrum screws around. North's in possession on the blind side. Bagnall diving on it. Booth keeps it going that way to Cook. He beats Jamot head on with Hickey underneath. Dowling. Dart goes straight into Turner.
That's where North will do some damage, I think, if they keep working in that area on the fringe of the ruck with the big men plunging up the middle.
McCabe finds Kelso. He gets a good pass back to Groff. Now Groff takes off. Looks inside for Michael Booth. Has he got the pace? Heaps of it. Michael Booth all the way.
Great try, that one. What a beauty. Set up beautifully back here on the fringe of the ruck, and then with a good pass, Groff did the job to continue through, and then Michael Booth backing up well, followed it through nicely. Let's have a look at it. This is good stuff from Kelso. Hit the line, dragged in 2 defenders. Around came Groff on the outside, and then positioned Booth nicely. Got to the fullback, fired it back on the inside, put the cover defence in disarray with the inside pass. Weren't really expecting it. Wrong-footed them. Scott Nichols didn't have the pace. Michael Booth did. from the head on. That's just a pick up there from Craig Groff. Watch how he positions Bood now. Comes back a little bit this way. Always was never going to worry about his outside man. The pass back on the inside is the one that's going to wrong foot the cover defence. Michael Booth had positioned himself well. Not the fastest player in Brisbane, but plenty of pace or enough pace there to get across.
Now Guy Harvey has the chance to push the Devils further ahead. 57 from 73. He's kicked this year. This is 15 metres to the side of the uprights, but he's pushed it across the face of goal. So the score remains North's 10, Wynnum-Manly 2. 2 tries to nil already on the board after 15 minutes.
And North's looking impressive. I think their first try had a lot of luck about it, and for mine, Groff should have been called for offside. But it certainly has given North's confidence. They're ready to play football here today, and Wynnum-Manly are going to have to lift their game if they're going to compete.
McCabe changing direction, slips it back, but Turner has it for Wynnum.
Eddie Ward signalling there that it bounced off Turner's chest, not a hands, therefore not a knock on.
Tessman. Willing defence, 3 players. Dawes, Miles, over the top to Naylor. Naylor in the gap. Lewis coming on the angle, gets it to him late. He's hit, hangs onto it.
No, he's called it back. He's called it back for a forward pass. Actually, Naylor made a bit of a mess at that. He really should have positioned these support players a little bit better. He seemed to stumble himself there and trying to get the pass back on the inside. What a beautiful ball from Gene Miles. Let's have a look at it. The power of the big man. The ball comes out along the back line. Nothing on at all. Defenders everywhere. Miles draws in two over the top to Naylor. And let's have a look at a little bit of a stumble here. And this is where the support play just overruns him a fraction. A little bit of a stutter from Naylor. That caused the overrunning. Good hands though from Scott Lewis to hold on to it. To no avail low. And looks like a penalty has gone to Wynnum-Manly from the scrum. And they've got a tap now, 15 metres out.
Nichols takes it up. Bagnall giving away the penalty, feeding the second row. On the blind side, it comes to Geno. Geno with plenty of support to Colin Scott. Shrugs off the tackle and gets a well-deserved try. It could well have come a moment earlier.
Well, there we have it, the try-scoring potential of Wynnum-Manly through Colin Scott and the ball handling of Daryl Geno. Let's have a look at it as they hit back the blind. All part of the set move. A couple of players go open, back the blind they go. Wrong foot's a couple of North defenders. Good ball handling by Geno, and Colin Scott shrugs through the tackle of McCabe, who went too high and gets across for Wynnum-Manly's first try.
Now Brad Samuelson has the ball placed only 2 metres in from touch, so this is a very difficult attempt to keep this good record going, but he's hit it well. Straight between the posts. Magnificent kick. He has 2 from 2, and the score moves along 10-8 in favour of North. Plenty of action out here, only 2 points between the teams.
There's one player I wouldn't kick off to.
Set sail down the middle, but the defence equal to the task that time. Scott from dummy half. In fact, David, going back to that earlier movement when Miles threw the ball over the top, it didn't result in a try, but you could see the North's defence, 2 centres both came in on Miles. Yep. They didn't have the confidence to take him man on man, but managed to slip away down to Jamot.
Once again, Daryl Geno coming across the ruck, 2 hands free, found Jamot.
Turner up the middle.
Neither side defending particularly well. Both sides look good in possession, and we could see a high scorer.
Dawes, Samuelson looking for ground down the touch line, finds the winger up in the line. It beats Booth in a touch, 10 metres out. Great kick.
Excellent kick, that one. Got the ball rolling end over end, the top spinner. The ball didn't go too far in the air. There's Samuelson. Almost kicked it straight into the ground, but made sure that it was going to topple end over end.
North's ball from the scrum. Bagnall taken by Scott. Now they work it up through Jackson. Gerard out to Dart. Almost through Hickey's tackle. Finally it was Turner coming from behind him to finish him off.
Big Bill Dart has been secured by Eastern Suburbs in Sydney, and he's certainly got enormous potential. You saw then the ability of him to a little bit of a step and also to back up, or to get his hands free to look for the backing up player.
Bagnall with the kick taken well by Scott on the ankles to steady it. And now beats the tackle. Can't get away from Dart. Nichols.
Good work from Nichols. That's the second time we've seen him take the first ruck after Colin Scott's had to retrieve a kick downfield.
Samuelson goes right under the swinging arm of McCabe. Oh, he did duck under and into it.
Just as well he did.
Miles. Oh, slips a late pass to Naylor brilliantly. Naylor down the touchline. Bagnall across in cover. Great tackle.
It's a good bit of football, that. Gene Miles creating havoc out wide, and I think it's important that he doesn't get sucked into midfield today. That's where he's most dangerous. Naylor couldn't get back on the get his pass back on the inside, so he took the tackle, and what a beauty it was from the cover defending Jeff Bagnall. Against the head. Oh, and
Dawes has knocked it on after getting it against the head.
Gee whiz, that's a terrible mistake, that one from Dawsey, and he knows it.
Doesn't endear to forwards.
No way, they've worked very hard to get it, and a little knock on at the base of the scrum now. They've taken all the pressure off.
Now Harvey comes in from the wing. Duncan steps off the right, but then off the left as he straightens it up. Back to Harvey. Harvey dancing in the forwards. They come in. The run around with Dowling. Back to Gerard. North's back line is very flat, well spread, but very flat. Jackson.
Two Wynnum players must have collided in that last tackle. Turner's one. I just can't pick it up, and could be Petrie. So Wynnum-Manly not at full strength in the defence, and touched there by Scott Lewis. No, Scott Nichols over on that side, gone into touch. Off Wynnum-Manly, North will have loose head and feed. As Wynnum-Manly player in the background does get attention, or in the back play, it is Petrie. So Wynnum-Manly without a hooker at the moment. Turner, I wouldn't like him swinging off my shoulders.
North's ball.
Powerful tackle, that one from Dawes.
So that must have gone against the feed. Groff with a good dash. Cook. Jackson punches into Tessman.
Pound for pound, probably one of the best footballers going around in Brisbane. He and Bleakley are very similar.
Dowling winding up the blind, picks up McCabe with room to move. Back inside to McMahon. Has support on the outside in Kelso, but the ball's gone loose. It was a good move, switching the point of attack.
Yeah, just got a little bit too confusing. The last pass, that one from Coffey and McMahon, was definitely the support player was unsighted by it, and couldn't pick it up quickly, but up until then, some good play. McCabe lurking out wide, finding the pass back on the inside, looked good for a while.
Penalty to Wynnum.
Yeah, going down in the scrum. Dowling and Gerard there going down. Differential penalty. Wynnum-Manly get a chance to get out of their own territory. 17 minutes to go in the first half.
Samuelson picks up 20 metres. Scott Lewis down there quickly. Hands it on to Petrie. Now Tessman runs it up. Dowling and Gerard putting him down. Turner takes on McCabe high. Hickey running hard too. And slips a good pass.
Penalty, holding back, yes. He definitely held Samuelson back before he was in possession. Good effort from Hickey and Samuelson. They combined very well there. Samuelson obviously called him, and Hickey was doing everything possible to get the ball to him.
Right in front, has the breeze behind him, should be able to get the distance. And straight between the posts, another good kick to make it 3 out of 3. So Wynnum-Manly even the score at 10-all. Players sweeping from one end of the field to the other, plenty of action out there as the kick goes back to Tessman. Turner.
McCabe doing some solid front-on defence in there, but tending to go high each time.
Miles again with the high punt kick.
Too much altitude, I think. Juno would be better off getting the trajectory more like about 45 degrees. You'll get maximum distance.
Good run from Booth, bringing it back up. Bagnall, Groff, Steps back off the left foot. Petrie coming across to take him. Dart looming up down that blind side, just short of the halfway. Duncan moves it wide to Dowling. They keep it coming to McCabe. McCabe throws the dummy to Cook. Now Dowling holds up the pass well for Cook.
Looked for his wing on the outside, and McMahon was lurking on the inside.
Duncan finally elects to stab for the line.
Well done too. Duncan didn't really want to put it out on the left, allowed one defensive player to come past him, steadied himself and shot back for this right-hand touchline.
Dawes feeds, but it comes back to North against the feed. Bagnall.
6-2, the scrum's now in favour of North. That's a healthy advantage.
Bagnall goes himself. Just short of the line, or has he got it down? It goes backwards. Booth dives in on it. No, Bagnall still has it. Only a metre out. Gerard goes across field. The ball pulled out. Penalty to North. Gene Miles and Brad Samuelson desperate to stop the momentum of North. Now Harvey just to the left of the uprights. Puts it through. Puts North back in the lead. 12 points to 10. Quick kick-off from Miles. It's very deep and might go all the way. It has gone dead in goal, so that's a penalty to North back at the halfway mark.
Wow, that's a big kick. Algino can't believe it himself. He didn't think he could kick him that far. But with that fairly strong breeze behind him, had no problems at all, belting it well over the dead ball line. Of course, you cannot put the ball out of play from the start of play intentionally. You can't put it out on the full, and therefore a penalty going to North.
Quick tap from Duncan after feinting to kick to the far side. Only gained 8 metres. McCabe. Bagnall. Trying to get away from Hickey. Gerard at dummy half. Dowling. Dowling looking on the inside, but the pass has gone loose. Cook's after it. Looked to me as if Naylor could have made a much better effort to get back possession there.
Certainly didn't show a great deal of urgency. He could have felt that he was offside had it been touched by Wynnum-Manly.
Yes, that probably was the case too. Out it comes now to North, back to Booth. Booth plays it forward, wasn't marked. Pushes away from Dawes. Finally, Petrie it is, holding on to him. North's making inroads, though the pass goes loosely out to Dart.
Poor dummy half play that. Dowling was on the burst. It went straight through him. The player outside him wasn't even expecting it. And they lost all their momentum.
Jackson loses the ball. Trying to spin away from the defender.
When you get Dowling coming on the burst like that, you don't dummy to him. You give him the ball. If he wants to work, he's only going to be any good to you if he's got the ball in his hands.
Scrums 7-2 to North. There's one to Wynnum. Makes it 7-3. Now Scott. Dowling was underneath. Was met head on by Jackson. Turner through the middle again. On the quarter line. Miles pulls it in one-handed, takes his time. Now puts a long kick in. Booth will have trouble getting this on the full. Over his head, it might bounce dead in goal. Booth is hoping it will, and it does.
This field isn't big enough for Gene Miles. They need to get him on the MCG. That's 2 he's put dead, 1 out on the full from the kickoff, and that one in general play. Certainly has got a massive boot. We don't see it that often because normally Wally Lewis is doing the tactical kicking.
Gerard goes straight ahead. Takes 9 metres. Dowling. Dowling involved in the play. McCabe. Inside Turner, but Jamot rides him into the ground. 3 tackles and they're up to the halfway. Duncan plenty of speed in this pack, the way they're running the ball up. They're hitting the advantage line very quickly.
And sharing the workload too, Warren. They've got a fairly big pack and they're not just leaving it to anyone. There's Wynnum have come up with the ball here. But we've seen the big men in Dowling, Dart, McCabe and Duncan all prepared to do their bit for this north side. And that's so important. If you can share that workload around a bit, it makes it easy. When you are involved, you can be firing on all 8.
Petrie there had Scott coming through on the burst, but he elected to go himself. Possibly thought he was going to sell him the dump. Now Jenner goes wide of the ruck. It's a little dummy, but held on to it. 10 metres into North's territory. Samuelson with a little chip through. He's knocked over in the back play. Booth is after it. What will the referee decide?
Yep.
Penalty to Wynnum-Manly. Samuelson being knocked over after he got the kick away. Brad Samuelson has 3 from 3. Brian Naylor has left the field for Wynnum-Manly, replaced by Noel Tierney. Samuelson hits it again well. Doing a great job with the boot, Brad Samuelson. So with 6 minutes remaining till half-time, it's 12-all. The scores are locked up once more.
There's Tierney wearing 15, has had A-grade experience, but not a great deal. And he replaces the very experienced Brian Naylor.
Naylor appeared to injure a leg when he stole the ball in the tackle. Out cross field, Wynnum moving it wide early. Miles decides to do a little bit of forward work.
I think he's going to have to be careful that he doesn't get drawn in there, Warren. He'll do most of his damage, which he has done out wide today. I think North's strength is in the forwards, and they'd dearly love to have Gene Miles come out the middle all day. They'd be worried if he was lurking out wide, or he could feel the body contact of that one.
It was Jenner hitting the defensive line. Miles doesn't have much angle. Goes straight downfield to Booth, who juggles it backwards. They're all onside, and the referee says it was knocked forward. Well,
interesting to see that again. I can't see how Eddie Ward motioning that it was knocked forward to the opponent's goal. Let's have a look at it. Booth does the right thing, takes it, body turned to the side, bounces off his chest. For mine, knock back that one, not a knock on. Wardy thinks otherwise, and of course he's the man that counts. Great opportunity now for Wynnum-Manly with 5 to go in the first half.
And the feed too. Very important decision.
They're standing nice and deep.
And it goes from Dawes. It's come out to North, but the penalty goes to the Devils.
Yeah, Dawes not retiring. Also climbing all over the top of Bagnall before he really was in possession of the ball. It's been a good hooking effort, this one from David Gerard. He's won a couple, I think, against the feed, Brad, has he? 3 against the feed, and there's none more important than that one right there.
Booth will look for touch. Penalty 6-4 in favour of the Seagulls. Now Dowling runs it up.
Important here for North to control possession for these 6 and get the ball down the other end of the field. Can't it? Whoops, there we go.
There we go. Moving it forward.
Yep, that'll be a bad mistake, that one. Wynnum-Manly now with just the time they need. 4 minutes to apply the final pressure in this first half.
Loss of concentration. He wasn't under pressure from
Whoops,
the tacklers.
the 2 halfbacks. Bagnall saying, this is my territory, this side of the scrum. Go around your own side.
Bantam Roosters. Groff has it as it comes straight through.
Wow.
Well, Wynnum scrummaging leaves something to be desired. Bagnall. Dowling the run around with Gerard. And a good ball and all tackle there, knocks him over. Hickey underneath him. Dowling, Dart. Plenty of skill in this match. The forwards are hitting it up hard, but they're also showing some touches of skill.
A couple of good short passing bursts by both sides that have been a feature.
Duncan. Nichols in good position to take it. He dropped back.
We thought about offloading to Colin Scott. There was a big chance. There's plenty of open spaces out here if Wynnum want to move it.
Miles with a big fend.
Gino doesn't need open spaces. He makes his own.
Plays it forward. Rampaging Miles. Cook comes in to try and silence him. Bagnall back in there.
Half a minute to half time.
As Bagnall copped the big don't argue a moment earlier in the earlier tackle. Scott across field, round doors. Slammed over.
That's where they want to wrap now. They want to go around.
Cabe again with that big ball and all tackle.
Gene Miles has just said, just take it up there, pal. He's going to have a shot at field goal here, I'd say.
Standing right in behind the ruck.
Seconds remaining.
Back to Miles. There it goes. The field goal attempt. Booth can only watch it go by the posts. It missed.
There's the big fellow. The idea was right.
And the siren goes for half-time. The half from Brad Samuelson. Interesting to see what tactics both teams adopt as Jackson runs it up.
There's the Wynnum-Manly bench, and of course Wally Lewis there in the centre. Right beside him, David Green having a sip of drink. He played lock in reserve grade, so Green on the comeback trail. Wally Lewis has taken up his spot on the bench. He was in the grandstand earlier.
North sent it back to Booth. Booth manages to find the open space. He's bouncing awkwardly for Scott. He's now in trouble in his in-goal area as he takes on the tackle of Groff and Bagnall, and they pin him there. Great defence, great chasing.
Well, it's again, North's getting a dream start to this second half, as they did in the first half. They didn't get points this time, but they've trapped Wynnum-Manly right in their in-goal area. Good chase from the two halves, both Groff and Bagnall.
Gene Miles with the drop kick. This half Wynnum are running into the breeze. Miles still manages to bounce it up towards halfway, where it's picked up by McMahon. He runs into Jenner.
As the North coach in the dark glasses, Greg Oliphant, would be satisfied, I think, with the way his side went in the first. I think they deserve to be in front. And if they can play the way they did play in the first half, I think they can take it out.
North cross the quarter line with Jackson. Only 15 metres out. Plays it forward. Well, was he marked?
Well, that's an interesting one. The rule there is that you must stand directly in front, and then you can't pick the ball up in the ruck. And I would have thought that Turner was in front of him. I even think there the penalty could have gone to Wynnum. Let's have a look at it. Well, OK, Turner isn't up, so he was well within his rights to be able to play that ball forward. So Eddie Ward spot on there, and a penalty has gone to North. Guy Harvey with a chance to slot another 2 points.
Now Guy Harvey, 10 metres to the left of the uprights. He is the best goal kicker in the competition, looking at his record, and he puts this one through for 2 more points. So North put their head back in front. They lead 14 points to 12. There's the restart. The trainer having a word with Colin Scott in the back play. He may have copped a knock in that tackle in the end goal. They piled in on top of him.
He took a hell of a chance there when he picked the ball up on the fly. Did it beautifully, in actual fact, showed good skills to get it there, Scotty.
And now the ball comes out to Kelso. Kelso, well tackled.
And a penalty, yeah. Cook's been knocked down in back play there as he attempted to support. Good break from Kelso. Penalty has gone to Norse. And who would it be? Scott Nichols. 5 minutes in the sin bin. There's Cook, he's okay. Scott Nichols tramps off the field. Wouldn't be the first time that Scott Nichols has got caught for holding a support player.
Kick from Duncan finds touch. Kelso certainly was looking on the inside for his centre partner. Quick tap taken, Dowling. Good tackle from Jenner. Turner has hurt his knee. Slowly to his feet now. Gerard darts away from dummy half. Duncan. Tessman and Hickey wrap him up. Groff, the switch to Bagnall. Booth. Dart. Dart takes on Turner. He tackles him well on the 22. Turner's recovered from that injury.
Yeah, good tackle from Turner, as you say, Warren. He was in a bit of trouble.
Bagnall. Last tackle coming up. Duncan takes his time, puts it up in the air. Plenty of coming through on it. Scott flies high and manages to come away with the ball, but now he's driven back towards the goal line. The referee calls held. And I wonder if tacklers could be a bit disappointed they didn't have the opportunity to force him into the end goal.
Yeah, it looked a little bit premature. Scotty was certainly on the way to being crunched into the end goal area. But it is the option of the referee to decide if a player is effectively held, that he can call held.
Turner. Norths have come out strongly in this second half. Jenner. The last tackle. Wynnum, 20 metres out from the goal line. Confusion. It should have gone to Miles. It's gone to Tessman. But he puts up a good kick nevertheless. Booth underneath it. McMahon from dummy half. Can't get away from his opposite number, Scott Lewis. Bagnall. McCabe. Goes across field. Oh, high tackle on Groff.
He could be gone altogether. Let's have a look at this.
Jamot was the tackler.
Well, I think he's got to send him off myself. Very high tackle. Looks like the player isn't seriously injured. Groff, let's have a look at it again. The pass back on the inside. Certainly Jamot wrong-footed, but no excuse for going high like that. Well and truly above the shoulders. He's got away only with a caution. Quite amazingly, really, for mine. Penalty has gone to North. So we're going to have all players left in this game. That's providing Craig Groff can recover. But Tony Jamot, undoubtedly a high tackle. Groff looks up. There's Tony Jamot. He might need that headgear later.
Harvey, 40 metres out. The distance is the problem. He's right in front of the posts with the breeze. Moves in. Hits it well. Straight between the posts. Good kicking from Harvey. And North hit the lead by 4 points now, 16-12. Neither team seems to be really able to move it away from the rucks and get the back line moving, but the forwards are certainly working hard. And the ball has been knocked out of the hands of Hickey by Gerard, says the referee, as he was about to play it.
This penalty is very handy for Wynnum-Manly. They're certainly standing them in good stead. The penalties at the moment favouring Wynnum marginally by 10-8.
That's a better kick from Samuelson. Takes play to North Territory. Peachy with the tap to Tessman.
4 penalties in a row.
Turner. Wynnum have worked their way into this position a couple of times, but then squandered possession on the third or fourth tackle. Let's see what they do this time. Hickey has it.
All one-out stuff.
And plenty of strong defence, driving him back. Miles runs around Jenner. Jenner looks for him again, but McCabe swoops in to make the tackle.
Not positive enough, Wynnum-Manly. They think they've got all day to put their moves on, and they haven't.
Dawes back to Nichols. Dowling comes from behind. The last tackle on the quarter line. Miles puts it up high. Chasing through is Dawes and Scott Lewis. Michael Booth comes for it, but doesn't get close to it. Goes backwards now. It's handball backwards. Samuelson's after it. Booth chasing him. The end result is it's a handover, and Wynnum-Manly have lost some 10 metres. North's quickly on the attack, out to Kelso.
Yeah, they were offside. Good refereeing by Eddie Ward. Let it come as far as the players involved and then knock them off. Never at any stage were they back 5 metres.
Duncan. Gerard comes up to take the tap midway between the Wynnum quarter and halfway. Harvey runs across field before Tessman and Jamot round him up. Dart only knows one way, that's straight ahead. Hasn't broken the line as many times as we have seen him, but still had a good game. Back to McCabe. Dowling, Bagnall, Cook. Cook goes back, finds Bagnall on his inside, has support. Gerard comes to Scott Lewis. Only 8 metres out. Chance for Norths now. Bagnall, Groff, Cook has support outside, comes back away from Tessman, still going for the line. Bagnall looming up in support. It's the last tackle, 5 metres out. Wynnum slow to get back out wide. On the blind side, Gerard sends it to Groff. Up goes the bomb. Coming down in the field of play. Tessman is underneath it. Dowling! Dowling has come through and plants it for a 4-pointer.
Oh, well done from Dowling. Went nicely. Groff put the kick up to perfection. And Norths were hungry for it. They made sure they were the players here. In actual fact, I think it was 2 Norths players fighting over it rather than anyone from Wynnum-Manly. Look at this, back on the right-hand side. He hooks the ball across. All players on side. And we'll have a look here. There we are, 2 Norths players. It was Dowling and McKay fighting for it.
Harvey with the chance to put Norths 10 points ahead. Not a difficult one. And up go the flags. So Norths now 22, Wynnum-Manly 12.
Stand up and cheer for Norths again this year. Fitness gives them zing, out to do their thing.